Hi everyone, welcome to Mentorship Monday. This is your host Thabang Rantšo, and today I'm not alone. I am with the awesome co-host, and over to you, ma'am.
Hi everyone, so my name is Thato Masheane. I am also the new co-host of the Mentorship Mondays. I'm very excited to be on your screens and more excited to be hosting with the co-host Thabang.
Yes, and I think you will remember this program that has been airing over a year last year. Mentorship Monday is a program that we bring to you every Monday, where we bring seasoned professionals to come share their career walks, their journey, their ups and downs, and give you all insights to what made them the men and women they are today in their respective industries. So do tune in. We have a lot in store for you this year.
Yes, and on that note, today we have two very seasoned professionals next to me here. We have Thato Mochone, and we also have Thato Mochone Mokhathi. So just a little bit of them. Thato is a sustainability enthusiast, obsessed with new ideas and methods for increasing community vitality through economic prosperity, environmental quality, and social fairness. She holds a master's degree, yes, in education for sustainability, and knows how to take the triple bottom line from theory to reality. She has specialized knowledge of environmental science, sustainable development, as well as leadership skills, and the ability to use systems thinking to make strategic business decisions. So I'd like to welcome you, Thato.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Then we also have a very seasoned professional next to me here, which is Mr. Motjope Mokhathi. He's the founder and CEO of Thato Mutual. I'm sure you've seen the yellow insurance all around, painted around town. He has vast experience in life insurance and has an MBA and a BSc Medical Microbiology qualification. He has served as an Executive Vice President of the Junior Chamber International and the President of SAIF at the University of Free State. He's passionate about entrepreneurship and the possibilities that it creates for the youth. Welcome very much, Thato Mochone.
Thank you very much for having me. Awesome. Now that we have introduced our guests, we'll move right into why they are here. And I know you have answers for young professionals out there, and as well as the employers, because this is not just a matter of young professionals, but it is also a matter that really is of utmost importance to the employers. So today we just want to ask you one question. The first question would be, what does personal development mean to you as an individual, and how were you introduced to it? I'll start with Thato.
Ladies first.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't think there's a universal explanation to personal development. But for me, what this means is positioning yourself for employability. By employability, we mean having a set of skills and knowledge and just the thing to be sought out, to be to stand out while you are part of a statistic, while everyone else has a degree in law. What makes you stand out? So personal development for me is putting in effort, investing in your growth, investing in your knowledge, investing in your networks, and also finding a balance between work and home, finding a balance between the aspects that make your life, the spiritual aspect, the academic, the professional, and otherwise. So professional development for me, personal development for me is trying to apply more effort every day to be a better version of yourself and positioning yourself in a way that you stand out from the rest.
Wow. One word that keeps taking the ground for me is positioning yourself. Thank you so much, Thato, for that beautiful definition of personal development to you. So how were you introduced to this, to personal development? When did you know about it?
Okay, so I think I first got to appreciate personal development when I joined the Mandela Washington Fellowship. So the program is really about developing leadership skills in young persons, and also coming back from the fellowship, then networking with young people from across the globe, and realizing how people are positioning themselves in the different industries that they are in, looking at people that are younger than yourself, who are versatile. They are here and there. They are not everywhere. They are here and there, but they are doing better for themselves. They are going out there and getting it. It's not just a dream for them. It's putting in effort. It's going an extra mile. So that was my first introduction with that. And then coming home, and then you get to network with these people who are in the fellowship, but also having your own personal desires and dreams for the next level, because you're always looking at, how can I be better? We are all here. We are all employees at the same level, but how can I be better? Not be better than anyone else, but be a go-to person. Be a better version of yourself. Deliver better than you did yesterday. Bring creativity, bring work, add value in what you're doing. So that has been my introduction, but also more than anything, I think it also comes from a personal quest for me. I'm obsessed with new knowledge, so I'm always looking at ways on how I acquire new knowledge. And when I love engaging, so when I engage, it's so fulfilling and powerful to engage from a place of knowledge. When you are having a discussion on pertinent issues, you are not on Oksala, you know. You can bring something to the table to say, but this is what studies, so this is what research, so this is what my experience is. Yeah. So that has been that for me.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Thank you very much. Before we jump on to the Mochjope on the same question, I just want to find out, you went to Mandela and came back, and of course you were into employment as well. Do you think that it's possible to push your personal aspirations while maintaining the work goals as well? Were you still able to have the same?
Exactly. So when I came back, I started a campaign called 5,000 Steps to the Future. I wanted to do something bigger than myself. So the target was to collect shoes for orphans and disadvantaged children that walk the longest distance between home and school. And at that time, I had just realized the power of social media. So what we did is we use social media for social development. So we'd ask people to donate, and then we take pictures and we post them on social media. And that got the attention that we needed, and we were able to collect the shoes. So I was doing that, but at the same time, I came back and I had learned a different type of programming altogether, having intent with the Voice of America in Washington, D.C. So I also brought that in my workspace. So there was a balance, because I was trying to define Thato outside the organization, which is something that I'm doing every day, to say, when the carpet is pulled under you, or when the company closes shop, who are you? Do you want to be defined every day as Katleho company X? Because that's how we define people. Yeah. So I want, and I strive every day to be defined by me. So whatever company I've worked for, I'm able to have my profile outside of that. I'm able to define myself as Thato, the communications and sustainability enthusiast, because I do that inside and outside of work, and I do not let that to be defined by whatever role I occupy at that particular time.
Wow, what an interesting outlook. I think it's very important that as young professionals, through personal development, as you have already said, that we define ourselves outside the scope of what we do every day. Because, I mean, a lot of people, once they move from a place, or they get, the company closes, you know, then they don't know how to introduce themselves, because they used to say, "Get Thabang, so who are you outside this company? Nobody knows about it. So who are you? All right. I think it's your turn now. What does personal development mean to you, and how were you introduced to it, and when? I think, yes, the when part is also important.
Okay. As a second speaker, and then we go to the next question. But anyway, for me, personal development it's all about becoming the better you. It's all about understanding yourself, understanding your weaknesses, understanding your strengths, and just making sure that you find the balance between the two. It's about me as an individual outside of my career, outside of my work, outside of everything else around me. It's about defining yourself, understanding yourself, and bettering yourself in any way possible. So because like Metato said, we define ourselves by what we do and not who we are. So personal development is knowing yourself and improving on yourself. So I think I got introduced to it formally when I was at varsity, because I think personal development starts from when you are how batswadi ba hao ba sentse ba o developer personally, they channel you, but they come it comes a point where now you need to take the decision, or where now you want to now take the lead in that role and say, okay, I lack here, let me go and do this, or let me improve in this. So I think when I was at varsity, we went to a session when we were at SAIF, and then that's when I formally went to a session where they taught us about personal development.
One thing ke bile ke batla go bua ka Sesotho hobane ke utlwele le monate haholo mo ka gola bobedi ba lona le hlalositse hore personal development e qala mo o le motho o itsebang o tsebang hore na matlaka fella kae go re na ke fokola ha ke fihla kae jwale bo o nka qeto hape, because batho ba ngata ba tseba hore na matla bona a fokola kae na ba matla kae, empa jwale they don't take a step further hore na ke tloa jwang mo moketeng ha ebe ke matla, ha ebe sephaka sena sentse se nka 50 kg se ka nka 60 jwang, se ka nka 70 jwang, jwalo mo e bang le sita o nka le isa fisiong hore le o tlotlolo we le khona hore bonyane le ka 1 kg, you know. So I love that very much, and I hope our viewers at home ba utlwile taba eno hore it's about knowing yourself from a place go baseline ho itseo jwale bo nka di step jwale o nka di kgato tsa ho imatlafatsa. Wow. And
of course we appreciate that this is also a journey, and when I look at your profiles, I see that you started as in education and now you are an advocate and a policy specialist. Mochone and Motjope went to medical microbiology and now he's into insurance. So I think our next question is to find out whether you think your career have you pivoted, or is it a progression? Did you take a turn at some point or redirected, or it's been a gradual progression? And have you upskilled or had to upskill yourself or reskill yourself?
Okay. Yeah. So like you said, medical microbiology. I was doing viruses. About COVID. And funny enough, I did that because I had to hold on to him. And because when personal development take an way. Success or development or what you do, how you know. So I did that because of to know so because I couldn't get into med school, what was the next best thing was medical microbiology. It's a medical microbiology. But I give you after that 3 years, I'm like, no. This is not me. This is not me. Then that's when you started. I hate reading. This thing you talk about blind. So if I'm gonna do this thing for the rest of my life, then I had being exposed to these many other careers today. Like, exciting science, this is what I love. And then that's when I decided I'm doing something, and this is what I'm going to do. So because but then it got to a point where I had to say, but what do I want? What do I enjoy? What am I comfortable with? And then that's when I decided to take the street.
Okay. One thing I highlight, it's okay not to be what everybody wants you to be. Because it's a VSC, you know, first class as if good grades, you know. Because I mean, it's okay to be the top one and then go do your BCom. It's okay to do. You don't have to actually do sciences to prove you are good. Yes, you are good, but you can still do something else. So I think this is a take home for young professionals. Because at the end of the day, you'll be stuck with a degree alone.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, you raise very interesting points. But I think what I'd love to say before I get into responding to Kathy's question is, I think it is important for us as Basotho to be very aware and appreciative of our context. For many young people, the route is as it is because that's what the market has prescribed, you know. So you really would not be anything else because it would not work here. And the way many other people, young people, are shaping or their careers have shaped is as a result of the work environment. You know, it's not as diverse as you see it in other parts of the world where someone is actually a social media manager and that's a big deal. Someone is actually this fancy professionals that you tell your parent that you want to be that. And
no. Content creator.
Yeah, no, you have to be a teacher, you know. Yes. You have to be, you know, so exactly. So you really can't you don't have many options. And I think for me, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I went to varsity. I just wanted to do law because it was cool. Yeah, because it was cool for me then. So I applied for law. I never got admitted into law. I did education. I never trained as a teacher. My first job was in radio, and from there I joined the telecos, and then I was with government for a short time, and now I'm with the NGOs. So how my journey has been, Katli, is that it is important for a young person. Sometimes you like you said, it's a journey. You don't have to have it figured out because you don't know, and sometimes the dots just connect going backwards. So for me, I started on radio, and then I landed a job in telecos because of the work that I was doing on radio, which has been communication, and of course, the work that I was doing in my personal capacity of community building. So the profile that the role that I would take was very aligned with what I was doing before. And when I was there, I was still doing my master's, but it had not taken any direction. So when I got into that space, I was like, actually, let me do sustainability, because now that I'm working with corporate social responsibility, this would be very helpful. And then I was there, but I was also doing a lot of advocacy. This is something that I've been passionate about. I was doing that when I was on radio, being involved in many advocacy initiatives for social justice. So now here I am doing advocacy and policy. So it's really being able to be in the moment and understanding what the needs are at that particular point in time, and making yourself, positioning yourself to be
employable.
To be employable. Because so now, being in advocacy and policy space, I'm doing a lot of learning on advocacy. Yes, tomorrow I might be in a different space altogether, but what this says for me is that I can apply for any job at any given point and I'll still fit. I haven't limited myself to being Thato the communication specialist. I can work in CSI, I can work as a teacher, I can work as a policy specialist, I can work doing advocacy, I can work in public affairs. So there's actually a lot of things that I would fit perfectly, not by chance, because of one experience and because of the credentials that I'm making sure that I bring along. So for me, that's how it has been. And I'm very intentional about it because I am aware of my context, that I would have loved to grow in a particular field. But here is COVID, for instance. And then so many people were out of jobs. But the ones that were lucky are the ones who made sure that they are versatile. Because when they lost on the other side, there was an opening on this side. Yeah.
Okay.
I really love the fact that it's important to understand the context in which we're living. Also understand the market which we're serving, because sometimes we will teach people about career development and make it so broad. You can be anything in this world, but the reality is you can't be everything or anything in Lesotho, given that if you are in a particular career that's not necessarily there, you might not even have an audience to begin with, right? Maybe you can create an audience of your own somehow, but I mean, the reality is it's always important to be cognizant of the market that you're serving.
Yeah.
And you say this because you've developed yourself over time, and I saw that you also have a digital marketing certification.
Yeah.
So tell me how you do it. How do you find this time in all the work that you're doing, the volunteering that you're doing? You make time to still upskill yourself in what's relevant for the current market. How do you do that?
I'd say, Katleho, it's understanding where you are and where you want to be. We all have the same 24 hours. Yeah. So I'm not even throwing shade on people that watch soapies. No, I'm not. But I would rather be doing something else that would put money on my table or that would work for me in the long term than be watching TV. I hate TV, by the way, so I don't watch TV, but rather that's what I'll be doing. And now take a look at your typical Saturday. For the majority of us, on Saturday, between 6 and 12, most that's time that's wasted. Because if you're not attending a funeral or a wedding, you are in your house, you go to the kitchen, you fix yourself breakfast, maybe, or you watch TV, you come back. By 1, it's only then when you're saying, hey, so that is the time that I use to do this many other things that I do. And also, I think it is important. I usually do share these opportunities for Basotho to understand, the opportunities are there, the scholarships are there, there are so many. And for us as Basotho, because for being a minority and for being a young democrat and for being a poor country, we are at advantage because these big companies and these rich countries, they are targeting poor countries like Lesotho, So any other time when there's an opportunity, we are included there. But people are not, maybe they're not aware or they're not capitalizing on that. But the scholarships are there. Because all the other, everything that I've done on a scholarship that I found on Google search, Now I'm doing advocacy course. I said free advocacy online. And then you search, and then it pops, it's there. A credible institution. So I would say understand where you want to go, because for many of us we want the fruits, but we don't want to put in the work. So I don't want to blame anyone for me being in the same position in the next 13 years. And also I'm very restless, so I don't see myself in one organization for over 5 years. So I really have to do that for me to be able to be moving around as much as I am.
Interesting. So I just want to move to the next question that we have for the both of you is, what was your initial approach to the workplace environment? How did you handle the culture? How did you handle the politics? because tsona di teng, because you are interacting with humans, bana le perception it's abon achi bana ba ba fihlang ba tjena, you know, those are the kind of places kapa, those are kind of environments re fihlelang ka go tsona. So can you share like Thato Mochjope re qala ka wena this time around, o ko re qoqele how qala to set your food ka ga mosebetsi gore na how was it and all that?
Okay, so my first job was at Alliance. That's the only job I've ever went. So when I got in as a data analyst, I think. Yes. And I would come in at 8, and then immediately 4:30, I'm the first one to up and leave. Well, because I think but then I found myself at Alliance, and maybe the Jaja, but people were working, like to move at the Bampiris on the laptop, and for me, most of my work was just to think. So the like just to do, and people never know how to say it. I know but how do you you know? And then, you know, I would see maybe these guys have Antavila Galo because really, you know, has 4:30 and I'm not below but then as the fruit of my thinking came through and people started to appreciate it, it's not bad. Actually, this guy is actually helping. So for the first 3 months or so, it was quite shaky, but then it was awesome.
How did you feel when these people were looking at this guy and this Dulong, just thinking? I get you just thinking. Did you feel like quitting? Did you feel like trying to explain to them, oh, guys, I'm still working, but I work in a different way from you?
Yes, you try to fit in, you know. You know this and this and this and this. So actually, I should fit in and try and be like them. And in the process, you end up losing yourself because you want to fit in into these guys. But after 3 months or so, when they started to come to understand who it's all around, and then I became myself again to say, actually, I don't need to change for these people.
Can you attribute this to personal development? Did the lessons you learned under personal development actually help you realize that you were shifting from who you were in trying to accommodate these people?
Yes, definitely. So I think the other thing, mentorship, you know. But my boss has always been my mentor, you know. When everybody else leaves, so normally Nikita 4:30, I'll leave. And then we'd have a discussion with my boss, maybe until 10 p.m. And he would teach me about life, to say, how do you treat these people there? And I think that's one of the best things that has ever happened to me, to always have that bigger brother in to teach me about life. Metato, so how does she, outside of work, get to learn about this and this and this and this and this and this? And for me, I've been lucky because I've always had someone who tell me about all these other things, and most of everything I know outside of my work, it's not because I went out and literally go and study. It's because there were people around me that were saying, China is with general. Mona with a general. It's because of that mentorship, Katleho to say. Sometimes you don't need to be the one who's physically searching for stuff, but people around you, having mentors. This is how you deal with stuff. This is how you deal with the politics. To say the politics are fair, and you must stand your ground. You must be who you are. So because of that bigger brother, it has helped me to have that smooth ride within.
Interesting. Thato, how was it on your first day?
So my first day was, before I worked on radio, I worked for some few months as a teacher. So yeah, at a primary school. It was uneventful, I should say. I quit. So I realized that I'm a person that loves challenges. So radio for me, I was thrown in the deep end. And I think it has always been the case for me with everywhere I've been thrown in the deep end. I think this is why I'm guarding myself any other time to say I must be ready, because you never know what's coming. So when I moved from government to corporate, no, I thought I was dying, hey? Because you are coming from an environment where it's not as fast, Work gets done, but it's not as fast. So you join this new world, and then you come for a meeting, and then you are told, this is what we need from you. You are given 18 items, and then you are thinking, I should be done by September. And then you meet on Wednesday, and then say, yeah, and everyone is reporting. And other people were actually given more tasks than you. And they report on all of them, progress, done. Challenges here, please, And then I say, no, I haven't started. No, that's not how it's done here. That's not how it's done here. We were expecting progress now. And then you have to pull up your socks. And then it was very difficult for me at the beginning, but I have a very supportive leader. So my line manager and my head of department, they were very supportive. And I think it is, the thing they say when you pray for a job, also pray for a good boss. That we should take that thing seriously, because I've had the best, and they were actually males. That's why I love men, eh? So they were very supportive. Big ups to us, and really, this is just my story. It's not the general. All the best mentors and all the best bosses for me have been men. Okay. Yeah. So these are people that would say, no, you can do this. They believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And I think when you have people that believe in you so much, you can't help but show up, be present, and try to prove that I'm actually this thing that you are saying I am. So for me, it was really, no, they trust I can do it. So I can do it. And I'd really deliver. And then also I was getting constant feedback. That is very important for young professionals. I know it's something that's discouraging for the majority of them, because you're putting in effort and no one says, well done, Katleho, well done, Thabang, Someone just goes and takes credit. Yes, the work of employees is to make our bosses look good. That is why we work in teams, because you don't win as an individual, we win as a team. So for me, I was in that very strong team that was very supportive. And I think that was it that said for me, moving forward, how I thrive in teams. Thato Mochone talked about it, collaborations. You don't have to do all the work yourself. And I think it's something that I'm very intentional about, in trusting and understanding that while I'm good at certain things, other people are way, way better. And then I have to depend on their labor for things I cannot produce myself. And understanding that we work as a team, and being able to ask for help. So that was that for me. I think everything from that, because I thought I was going to die. And then when I worked for this other organization where we were dealing with the expertise of Motjope COVID-19, my boss was a male as well. Yeah, so it was a very short 4 months. But when I was there, I kept saying to everyone around me, I am going to stay here even if I get a permanent job, because this 4 months, I'm going to get free training, because this guy is such a genius. I'm staying here because I need to get the training. So sometimes Thato Mochone, you just become selfish. For me, really, the majority of the time, I'm such an opportunist. I'm selfish because I come and say, oh, these people think they're exploiting me. What's in it for me? And you go there because you know you're going to learn something. Whether it's a difficult task, you do it because you are going to learn something. So that was the first for me, and I think it really helped me today to be able to thrive in high stress environments.